American Foundation, and I want to thank Basma and Shireen and the whole staff for putting this all together. So let's give them a round of applause. I also want to thank the embassy, the ambassador and his wife Rima for their support and for providing the space for us to all be here. So thank you so much. And I want to thank the amazing, amazing young adults that are with us today, the 47 youth who are going to be the future of our world and our community. So thank you for your amazing presentation and your message and for being with us. So round of applause. And then one more thank you, I promise. I also finally want to thank my amazing team who's with me today, Robin and Yusuf. If it wasn't for my team, I wouldn't be here, so I want to give them a big round of applause. So we are going to get started. It's going to be a unique speech, so before I dive into what I'm going to say, I'm going to have you do a small activity. So turn to the person on your left or right, so pick a partner, and then close your eyes. Don't close your eyes and pick a partner, pick your partner, then close your eyes, okay? That will be very difficult for you to Okay, so pick your partner, close your eyes. Now, without saying your name, without saying where you're from, without talking about your education, and if you work, your professional background, introduce yourself. You have a minute. Go for it. So no name, no where you're from, education, or profession. Go for it. So let us begin. I am a daughter. I'm a sister. I'm a friend. I'm a colleague. I'm a math lover. I'm an introvert. I love to eat chicken. I love nature. I can spend so much time in nature. I am a woman. I am a Muslim. I am blind and I'm proud of it. When I was 7 years old, on my birthday actually, I woke up that day. We were staying in our summer house in Lebanon. My parents are actually from Lebanon, so we used to go to Lebanon every single summer. I looked out my window and I couldn't see the mountains. I had become blind. And my world was completely altered. I remember telling my mom and my mom hugging me tightly and my mom realizing that her second daughter, her second kid, has also become blind. My sister 2 years previously, at age 7, had become blind. She hugged me really tightly and she said, everything is going to be okay. And everything was okay. And actually was a blessing in disguise. My mom, my family, my teachers, my community provided me the support system to be my true self. My mom never allowed me to utter the words, I cannot do this because I cannot see. They created a space for me where I was able to see my value, my human value. They empowered me to a point where I was able to see my blindness as a strength. I went to the regular public school systems in my town, went to college, studied math and economics, went to grad school, and was able even to hike and slide down a volcano in Nicaragua. And that's all because I had the privilege of having an amazing, empowering support system. But that's not the case for most kids with disabilities across the world. And I was exposed to a different narrative, a different reality when I used to travel to Lebanon during the summers. Most kids with disabilities, whether in Lebanon or across the globe, or even here in the US, they're exposed to a charity narrative, or at best, a human rights narrative. You're disabled. You can't. You can't. You can't. You're less than. You're a burden to society. Oh, I guess we have to educate you? I guess we have to employ you? Imagine kids with disabilities are faced with that narrative on a daily basis. What happens to you? You start believing it. You start embracing that narrative, and it becomes a vicious cycle of disempowerment. And when I realized that that was the common narrative for most kids with disabilities across the world, that's why I founded a nonprofit organization called Empowerment Through Integration. It's an international nonprofit that focuses on disrupting and tackling that narrative surrounding disability. Moving from a charity-based perspective to a value-based perspective. So not just human rights, value-based. Because human rights, what it means is that I have to employ and I have to educate and I have to. We want to come to a point where we say, when we don't include kids with disabilities, what happens? We lose out on their value. So our mission is very simple but very difficult at the same time. On one hand, we want every single kid with disability to embrace all of who they are, embrace the disability, and say, I belong in society, I exist, I can not only be here, but I can contribute. And on the other hand, because it shouldn't just lie on the shoulders of these kids, on the other hand, we work with society at large to say that Including people with disability is a value for all. When you don't include them, you lose out on their value. So we've created programs, direct service programs in countries like Lebanon, inclusion training that we bring to corporations, nonprofit, and government entities, and much more. And our goal is to be able to reach every single kid with disability across this globe. And you might be sitting here and saying, how does this relate to me? Well, every single one of us has been marginalized at some point in time, right? Every single one of us, based on one of our identities. And in those moments of being marginalized, you just want to be heard, recognized, and seen. You just need one hand to go out and say, I see you, you exist, and you belong. So I have two takeaways for you, 2 points. On one hand, I want all of us to embrace our true self fully, all of our identities in a positive way. Love all of who you are. But to even get to that point, what you need to do is sit down and reflect on what are the identities that you hold, and what are the identities that face negative perceptions and isms, and how can you turn those into positive isms, positive perceptions. To give you an example, blindness. When you hear the word disability, it's attached with a lot of negative isms, right? But I've come to a point in my life where I say, my blindness is a strength. It's given me resiliency, innovation, creativity, and stubbornness. So you need to reflect on all of your identities and how you make sure you believe fully that these are strengths. That's on one hand. Truly love yourself completely. On the other hand, recognize that we are part of creating these narratives. We are humans and we judge. All of us. Including me. I judge through my hearing. And my sense of smell. So, it's important for us to recognize when we see a person for the first time, we size them up in the first 7 seconds, we label them, and we attach assumptions. Reflect on those assumptions that you attach. Reflect on the narratives that you are creating in society, because we all are. And move towards a point where you're meeting a person for the first time, you see them, you see these labels, and you see the diversity, and you say, and you delay your assumption, and you have one assumption. I expect beautiful things from this person. So imagine you approach every single person with that assumption. What happens? You start creating an empowering space for others. This is why I say my blindness is a strength. I enter a room and I don't know how people are looking at me. That gives me the freedom to be myself fully. Because I don't tailor my voice and my actions based on others. So try to move towards society where you're fully comfortable being your full self forward. On the other hand, by being blind, I enter a space and I'm not able to make a lot of visual assumptions. That gives me the freedom to see that person for who they are. So my ask of you today is very simple. Diversity is beautiful in this world. See the diversity. But embrace yourself fully and delay the assumptions towards others. And move towards a life journey of empowering yourself and others. Thank you so much and I hope you have a wonderful rest.